Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for listening this week. And this week, my guest is Caitlin. Caitlin runs the Etsy shop Treat Dreams Dog Bakery, and I'm really excited to have her on. One, because this is the first time I've had anyone who makes dog treats, so I'm happy to talk about that. And two, well, I'll get to the second reason. But first, Caitlin, thank you so much for being my guest, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Good. Now, before we start, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I'm 26 years old, and then me and my mom just run the shop out of our house. I am out of college, just wanted to do something that was of interest to me and see where it would take me. And so I started it about 2.5 years ago, and we're still going strong. So it's very, very fun. We love it.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, did you know right from when you were graduating college that you did not want to get, quote, a regular job?
Yes. I had no idea what that meant, but I did know that I wanted something different, not conventional. And so I traveled a little bit to kind of get inspired and see what would pique my interest, and then kind of came home and realized that my interest was dogs. My interest was pursuing something of my own. And so I started to kind of brainstorm of what that would look like, and came up with a very quirky business that I thought would go nowhere, and have been completely surprised ever since.
Wow. So did you ever even consider looking for a job, or right away you knew that that was just not the environment you were going to end up in?
I pretty much knew throughout college. I hadn't ever found anything that was like, this is what I want to do. I had so many interests in so many things. I loved dogs. I loved business. I loved travel. What can I do with all of these things? And so I kind of knew that I probably wouldn't settle into anything that made sense to other people.
Okay. Now, when you decided you wanted to go into business, was choosing your mom as your business partner just a natural fit? Was it something you talked through and you both realized or decided you wanted to do this together? How did that come about?
Yes. Well, we kind of came up with the idea together. I think we were talking, I was discussing my thoughts. What am I going to do, with her? She's my best friend. Oh. I don't have any sisters, so it's always just been me and my mom. So, I talk about everything with her. And so through our conversation, it was just kind of like, I really would love to do my own thing. What would that look like? I love dogs. And then she had actually seen some dog treats somewhere in a store and was like, you should look into that. I know that you love baking, and I have done a lot of human, like, cake decorating and things. And so she was like, that might be interesting. And so then I went and kind of like sought some help from an entrepreneurial professor at a local university. And then I kind of came back to her with some information and was like, hey, I think this might be something to pursue. Do you want to do this with me? So she was like, all right, let's do it.
So were you like, who was the mastermind behind the recipes and coming up with the treats that you would make?
Both of us. We spent probably about 6 months baking and burning. It was not good. But we figured it out. We just kind of went off of, she has baked dog treats before, just, like a very basic recipe for our own dogs. And so she had like a base that we worked off of and then built from there. We realized there were certain things we wanted in them. There were certain flavors we wanted. There were certain like allergy specific things we wanted to avoid. We want to make sure that we have some grain free, some all natural, some gluten free. And so from that, we just kind of like figured out, well, that means we have to use this kind of flour. That means we have to use this kind of, everything. So, and then from then on, we just kind of started baking until we got the right consistency and timing until we stopped burning them. And then we were like, okay, I think we have 4 or 5 recipes that we can work with.
Wow. Now, when you were picking, for dog food, sometimes I'll say for me, sometimes I wonder if people can eat not just treats, but dog food. Do you use all, for lack of a better term, human ingredients in the treats that you make?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a very common question. And I had never thought about it. I don't know why, but I had never thought about it. And people would be like, what do you put in them? And I'd be like, well, I went and I scraped roadkill off the road this morning. It was just kind of funny to me that people were kind of like, dogs must not eat human food.
Right.
When in fact, they absolutely can. And so, yes, we use all human grade ingredients.
Good.
In fact, it is pretty much a granola bar, that our recipe is. It just is a little bland.
Oh,
it doesn't have sugar in it. And so, sometimes they can be a little bland for me because I love sugar, but a lot of my friends, pretty much eat the exact same thing in a granola bar. They just don't know it.
Just different wrapping.
Yeah, just different wrapping. So yes, and I get it all natural from my local produce. And so,
Nice.
yeah, it's actually anything you can eat. And I have a lot of friends that eat them. So especially if they have children.
Really?
Yes, because they don't know that they're dog treats. They think that they're human cookies.
Right, because they look so, they look so human.
Eat 'em. Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you discover Etsy, and why did you pick Etsy as your platform of preference?
That's an excellent question. I think I'm trying to remember. I remember just kind of doing some research, and I came across Etsy. I had never purchased anything from Etsy or been on Etsy, and was just completely intrigued with how simple it was and informative. And it was just built for me. Mm. It was built for someone who can just very easily start their own business, doesn't have to have a lot of just experience with building a website and gaining traffic, because I had no idea about any of that. I just knew I kind of wanted to start a simple shop. I wasn't ready to go head in and just consume myself with things I didn't understand. I just kind of wanted to post a few items and see where it would take me. And they allowed me to do that and just walked you through every step. And so I was just like, well, this is a very safe, easy way for me to start and see what happens. And so it was just so easy. I think I did it in one day. Wow. I just uploaded everything and wrote simple descriptions, and then you hit, submit and post, and it was done. And it was crazy. I love that. I'm always promoting Etsy everywhere I go.
Oh, fantastic. And so this was back in 2013. Fast forward to today, you also have an e-commerce website.
I do.
And so at what point did you decide to branch out?
Pretty early on, I decided to branch out. And I think that was just because I didn't know any better. I didn't know how successful Etsy would be. And because of what I said, I had no experience with Etsy. I just had always thought to sell things, you have to have a website.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pretty much did it. I started the website probably a month or two after opening my Etsy shop, just because I thought that that's what you had to do to be successful. You had to have a website. And so, I did the website kind of thinking this would be my main source of sales. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it has never been my main source of sales. Etsy has continued to be my main source of sales. So very interesting. I just started it because I didn't know any better, to be totally honest. And then once I had it, I was like, well, I've promoted the website. I don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I have it and I love it, but it's definitely not my main source. Etsy has continued to be my main source of sales.
Okay, so I was going to ask about that. And Caitlin's website is treatdreamsthedogbakery.com, and I will have a links to both her website and her Etsy shop. You can check them both out. So in retrospect, Caitlin, would you say that had you known then what you know now, you might not have opened up the e-commerce shop, or do you think it's still worth it to have a separate platform that you're selling from?
I probably would not have done it as soon as I did, because it's a lot of work to keep two separate things going. It's hard to manage sales from two separate places, and to keep things in order in two separate email accounts. But I probably would do it now that I'm at a place where I'm at now. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more established, a little bit more knowledgeable, just because why not? I mean, you want to take in as many sales as possible. And if one place gets you some that another place may not, then absolutely go for it. But probably not as soon as I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when you were first starting out, because the barrier to entry was so low and it was so easy to come on, did you have any reservations whatsoever about taking your business online right away? Did it ever cross your mind to perhaps just go to local shops and try and get your products in there as opposed to selling it online?
I have never been into doing local shops.
Okay.
I do it every once in a while, but I am just an online person. I'm an online shopper myself, and so that is what is natural to me. So I really didn't even think twice. I just was like, this is what I do, so this is what I'm going to do as a seller. Yeah. And plus I still have a full-time job, and definitely had a full-time job at that time. And so, I was like, I think a little hesitant to take on this, trying to sell things in person. That scared me more than kind of being anonymous online and being like, hey, I don't have to tell anybody if I fail. Yeah. So I'm just going to try this and see where it goes.
And so, do you remember how soon after you opened up you got that first sale?
I do. I remember that day. It was just an hour or two. And I had set it up and was like, okay, I'm going to walk away, and I was going to go get something to eat and try not to think about it anymore. And my phone went off, and it made a ding, and I was just ecstatic and I couldn't believe it. And of course we came home and made it that day, and I think we had it out the door the next day. We were so ecstatic. So yes, I remember it very well.
Now that's so not the norm.
Oh, really?
Within an hour or two? No, that's fantastic.
Oh,
yeah, no, I think most people don't get their first sale for at least not within the first 2 hours.
Oh, well, it was very exciting.
So how do you manage your time? So you're working full time and you're running this business with your mom. What does a typical day look like for you? How do you do it?
Right now, a typical day is just completely overwhelming, but because of the Christmas season. Yeah. But typically, I pretty much spend the same amount of time Christmas season or out of Christmas season, because there's just always so much to do. But right now, I mean, it's pretty much every time I'm not at work, I'm working on Treat Dreams. And so even if that's in the kitchen, or if that's answering emails or updating listings, or trying to promote on social media, whatever it may be. But it's pretty much morning, noon, and night. I do it before work. I come home at my lunch break, and I do it during lunch, and then I stay up till all hours of the night, the following night trying to get things done. So, pretty much anytime I'm not at work, that's where you can find me.
Okay. So every time you get an order, you make the treats fresh.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Made to order. We do.
Okay. That's really, yeah, I can understand why it gets to be a lot, because you're making it as the orders come in. You don't keep anything on hand, which is great.
We don't. Yeah, since we're using all natural ingredients, I wanted to make sure that everything was as fresh as possible. We don't use any preservatives. And so I like to try to get it made and out the door, and to their hands as soon as possible, so that we, don't have any problems. And we haven't. So that works out very well.
Okay, cool. Now, how do you split up the responsibilities for the Etsy shop and everything that goes along with it between you and your mom?
She is really great. She loves to help with whatever she can. But she loves the baking side of it. She is the head baker. She has her special apron. She has her special rolling pins. I am usually not allowed to, do the baking. That is her thing. And, it's really good because, as easy as it sounds, it's not easy.
Right.
Everything affects, dough and batter and, from the weather to what kind of olive oil you use. You have to make sure you buy this certain, brand. Otherwise, it'll change the batter. So that is her expertise. And I pretty much handle everything else, although she, if I ever need her, she is there. But, that's what she enjoys and that's what she likes. And so, that's how we split it up. I enjoy everything else. I think that's probably, my least favorite part, and that's her most favorite part, is, stamping out the treats. I love the business and I love the decorating and packaging. And so it works out completely perfectly.
Oh yeah. That sounds like it's just perfectly split up.
Yes.
How often do you come up with new products to offer?
Oh goodness. I just I don't have a set, I need to come up with a new product this week or this year, or, I really just go with, ever since I started the business, I've just tried to do what I found interesting and what I found fun and what was interesting to me at the time. I've never tried to push myself for new ideas or push myself for, all right, it's about time to come up with something new. Caitlin, you need to do that. Because then I'm afraid that I'm going to be doing something just because I need to, not because I want to or am passionate about it. And so usually I'll see something, or I'll see a human cookie and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that needs to be made available for dog cookies, like emoji cookies. I recently started doing emoji treats. And because I followed someone on Instagram who does, like human sugar cookies. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we need to do emoji dog treats. And so I would just come home and I'd be so excited, and I would work all weekend on making them and perfecting them and then taking pictures of them, and then I'd post them. And so I don't know exactly how often I do new products, but just as soon as I get an idea, man, I just run with it. Because that's what I want to do. I just want it to be fun. I don't want it to be feeling like I have to do something to stay on top or, to keep people interested. I just want to do it because I enjoy it.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, from the get-go, did you open up your business to the international market, or did you just want to keep things local?
I didn't do internationally, mostly because I was scared. I just kind of was like, let's just keep this. But recently I did go back in and adjust everything to be, internationally available. Although not all of my products can be, just because, they don't have the preservatives to last shipping times. And so, only a few of my items are able to last that shipping time. And so I went in there and edited those items. But I've only done a few orders to Canada. I have never done any, internationally overseas. So, that's always the next step, but I haven't actually worked on gearing it towards. I have it available, but I've never pursued trying to actually actively get their sales yet.
Okay. Now, do you find that it's a bit of an added inconvenience to have some products that can go, that can make that international trip and some that can't? Or is it easy enough to just integrate that into your workflow, determining, you know, when you're doing your listings, which ones will be able to go abroad and which ones can't?
It is a little bit of an inconvenience, just trying to keep track. And I think it's more of an inconvenience for, not for me to keep track, but for my customers to keep track, because I know why they can't, use that shipping time, and I know the reasons behind which ones can and can't, but a lot of my customers don't. And so I'll get emails being like, you know, why is this one not available, or can this one be shipped, or this is the one I want, and I have to, you know, I'm sorry, that one just doesn't have what it needs to make it to you know, Guam or Australia.
Right.
And so I think it's mostly harder for others to understand than for me, but it is a little bit of an inconvenience. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, interesting. I guess when you're dealing with food, it's a different ball game altogether.
It is. Yes, it is.
So let's talk about how you promote your Etsy shop, and I'll mention how I found you. I was reading an article in the Huffington Post, and it was titled "Etsy Entrepreneurs Share 7 Secrets to Their Success." And if for anyone who wants to read it, I'll put a link to it so you can see it. That's actually how I came across Caitlin and what she's doing, because she was one of the Etsy entrepreneurs that gave some advice. And I loved the advice you gave. And we'll talk about that too. But, well, okay, we might as well just bring it up now. And so basically your advice was essentially about making wise decisions when you're starting out a business, especially when you don't have lots of funds to go into the business, and you were faced with making a decision about whether to purchase a desk and a computer versus a camera. And you went with the camera.
I did.
So can you explain why you chose that, why you made that decision over going with the desk and the computer? Because initially I was like, well, you need a computer if you're going to sell online.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So that was the piece of information that I took with me when I started my business. I did a little bit of, you know, searching around. What do you need to know when you first start a business? Read a few books, and I need to look up and see what book it was from, but it was just a story. And it was that exact piece of advice about making sure that you're spending your money on items that will gain you sales. And so I had to sit back and think, oh, I'm going to need a new desk. If I'm going to have all these sales, I'm going to need a new desk. I'm really going to need a new computer. I have an old computer, but I probably will need a new one. It will just be faster, you know, because I'm going to have all these sales. And then I had to step back and go, but those don't actually impact my sales. Those are great things, but I don't have a sale yet. And so those are not things that are actually going to impact my direct sales. And so I decided to purchase a camera because Etsy is all about pictures. And I did not even have the camera. I just had my phone. And my first pictures actually were from my phone. And I just realized after I looked on Etsy and saw everybody else's pictures that that's what draws people in. That's where you find your sales. Your picture needs to display exactly what your product is. And so I was like, I need to buy a camera, and that camera will provide me with good pictures that will draw people in, because people don't know I have a great desk that I work on, and that I bought a new computer so I can reply to their emails faster. Like, no, I need to focus and put my money into something that will benefit my business. I did not take out a small business loan. I still do not take out any loans. And so I had to be very, very careful about what I put my money into. Actually recently, we were able to, after 2 years of business, spend some money on some things that, I think maybe we need to buy a new mixer. Like we just made sure that we didn't spend frivolously on anything that didn't directly relate to our sales.
Wow. Good. Now, do you know how you got on the Huffington Post's radar?
Teddy found me on the Etsy feature a couple weeks ago. Oh, it might have been a month ago. We were the featured shop on Etsy, and she found me.
Okay. I was like, man, talk about great promotion. That that's a wonderful platform to get some exposure on. Now, you are the marketing person in this team. What do you do to promote your Etsy shop to get customers to come into your shop and get the word out about what you're doing?
I use the word marketing a lot. Like I do the marketing, I'm the marketer, but to be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. I never took a marketing class in college. To be honest, I just try to do what I'm interested in. I just want my love for my business to be shown through what I do to other people. And so I do not want to try to convince people. I don't want to try to get some savvy business deal. I don't want to try to trick you into my sales. I just want you to love it the same way that I do. And so I feel that if I just promote the way that I love it through social media, showing you pictures on my Instagram of what it actually looks like when we bake them and decorate them, and maybe you'll understand why I love it and come to love it yourself. And so that's kind of the way I've done it. I haven't ever wanted to, try to boost my sales by listening to this, person who knows how to gain 5 million Instagram followers. That's not what I want to do. I just want to figure out how to show you what I do, and hopefully you'll understand and love it. And then just like I do. So that's kind of what I consider marketing.
Okay. So it sounds like you take a very natural and organic approach to it. You're not necessarily trying to game anyone. You're just doing you.
Yes, that's what I try to do, because I feel like that's what I love about people's shops and about the people I follow on Instagram or the shops I follow, is that they're just real and they're just doing what they love, and then I come to love it too, and I want to know more about what they do, and not just because they used 17 million hashtags at the end of their post, but because they love what they're doing, and so I want to follow them.
Okay, I have to confess, sometimes I am guilty of the hashtag overuse. I'm like, I want these people to see it, and I want these people to see it, and I want these people to see it. But then, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, come on.
It's successful. That's how to do it.
So what are your social media platforms of preference? I know you mentioned Instagram. Anything else?
Instagram and Facebook. And it's so funny how you can just build relationships with people that you don't know on both of those platforms. I feel like if there's a group of people that follow me on Facebook and I have just come to know them, and I just get so excited when they like my pictures, because I'm like, oh, they're keeping up. They love this. And that makes me so happy. So, I love Instagram because I'm all about pictures. And then I love Facebook because it's just so easy to connect with people there.
Okay. Typically, how often do you find that you're posting on Instagram?
Again, I started out reading all this information about how to gain followers, and they were telling me I needed to post 3 times a day. I needed to get on Pinterest
Goodness.
and pin 4 or 5 things a day, and I needed to make sure I followed all these Twitter people, and it became overwhelming. I started doing that, and I thought, this is how I'm going to be successful. And again, I found I was doing it just because I had to,
Right.
not because I wanted to. And then I felt unsatisfied with what I was doing. I was like, now I've got to go post something. What am I going to post? And it was that's just not how I want to do things. And so I post whenever I can, and sometimes it's not about treats. Sometimes it's just about my dogs. But I just want people to enjoy, everything I do. And so I just post when I can, how I feel about it.
Okay. I like that approach too, because you're right. I probably read some of the same things you've read about, how to grow a social media following and all that. And I tell you, by the time I finish reading how to do it, I'm just like, okay, maybe I don't want one.
I know. I feel like I'm so behind.
Yes.
I'm such a failure.
Yes. I'm like, when did everybody else come on the scene and do all this? And why am I just, learning this now? And it's like, forget it.
Yeah.
So now how about Facebook? So you're on Facebook as well. What kinds of updates do you do? Do you just post, do you do status updates about what's going on with Treat Dreams, or you do mainly just pictures about, what you're making right there and then? What's your Facebook interaction all about?
I feel like I mostly just do pictures. Again, I do what I enjoy and what gets my attention, which I realize it's not everyone. But when I'm on Facebook, what grabs my attention is pictures, regardless of whether you're just an individual or a shop. Pictures are just what grab me. And so I work with a lot of pictures. However, there are so many times that I just want to let them know that we're really busy and we're running behind, but your shipment's coming out. And we're running a sale today, just to let you know.
Okay.
But I do work a lot with pictures. And another aspect of pictures is that a lot of my customers send pictures to me. They want me to see their dog with their treat and their dog with their birthday cake. And so that's another aspect of using pictures. I want to post the pictures that people send me, because that's just fun to finally see your product being destroyed by a giant Saint Bernard. It's just great.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Now, I see, as of today, when we're doing the recording, you've done one shop update. What do you think about that new Etsy feature? And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm referring to, Etsy has this new feature in the Sell on Etsy app where you can put an update about something that's going on in your shop. And so basically it's like giving people a background look into what's going on behind the scenes that goes into the production of what that seller sells and makes. And so then you get to link that to a listing in your Etsy shop, and it's supposed to drive traffic to your shop or something of that nature. So you've used the feature. What do you think about it?
I did. I used it once, and to be honest, it just hit me at a really bad time with the holidays coming up, that I didn't have the time that it deserves to really spend honing in on using it. And so I think it's a great idea. It's basically I saw it as like, just like I do for Instagram, I just am going to link it with Etsy instead of linking it with Instagram. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm making. This is what my shop looks like. And so I think it's an excellent idea. I just need to put some more time and effort into it, which probably won't happen till after the holidays are over.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it has a lot of potential too. But you're right. Like the end of the year, I know a lot of sellers are just crazy busy. So it would be nice to look again at how the feature really functions for people once the crazy season is over and things are back to normal.
Yes.
Also, with regards to shop promotion, now I see on your e-commerce website, and again, for anyone listening who wants to take a look at that website, it's it's treatdreamsthedogbakery.com. You have a blog on there. Do you do much blogging, and what do you blog about?
That was another one of those how to gain followers. Start a blog. And so, I think I probably started that, probably a year and a half ago. I'm not even sure. But that I have found is very true. I just need to become a better blogger. Because I do find that it brings a lot of traffic, and I don't even maintain it like it needs to be. I try to announce maybe big things on there, we just launched our Christmas line, or make sure and order before Thanksgiving to get your treats in time, or something of that nature. My blog is so basic and needs a lot of TLC, but it is very, very true. I found it to be very, very true. It brings a lot of traffic, that I was frankly very surprised that it would, especially since I just don't give it the time that it deserves. So I do need to become better at that, and announcing it's just another platform. It's a very easy, accessible platform, to gain more traffic. And, so I need to see it as just kind of like another Facebook, another Instagram, of just pulling people in and letting them know what's going on. I don't have to try to sell them on my life. I can just kind of, say, hey, welcome. This is what I do. And so I need to work on that a lot more.
Now, when you do write a blog post, and I'm sure you've read this or heard it at least, the marketing gurus, will say things like, make sure it's SEO, it's optimized for the search engines so that people can find it. Use keywords that people are looking for, this, that, and the other. Did you do any of that at all to help bring in that traffic, or you simply just did Caitlin? This is what's going on. This is an update, and people just came.
I simply just posted. I think when I first started out, again, I was trying to gain followers and looking at all these keywords. And I think at one point I even, got on Google and paid to have them tell me what my keywords were.
Oh, wow.
And so I was trying to really get ahead of this. But again, it became completely overwhelming. And I felt very just consumed with trying to get ahead of everyone else and make sure I have the right words. Otherwise I will fail. I just had to step away and go, you know what? I will slowly deal with this. But, right now I think I just need to get the information out there.
Yeah. And one of the things I like and why I'm asking Caitlin these questions is because I know we've all heard many different ways about, how to drive traffic, get people to do things that you want them to do. But the simplest way is just to do what you're doing. And I know the internet marketers will not, necessarily agree that, just do it and they will come, because it doesn't always work, which is true. But sometimes there is that aspect of just being natural and organic and you, without necessarily trying to overwork something that maybe just isn't. And so I like that. That's what you've done. It's been just kind of natural. It doesn't work that way for everyone. I know sometimes you need to put in more effort, but
sure.
Sometimes it does.
And what's excellent is, if it doesn't end up working for you, go a different route. And so, and that's kind of what I've always thought. If this doesn't work, I'll try something else.
Yeah.
And so that's what's great about being able to have your own business and do your own thing, is that you're in control of how you want to market yourself. And if you want to just be as organic and natural as you can, then do it that way. And if you're into gaining 1 million followers overnight, then there are ways to do that, and you can just go for it.
Now, so I see that Treat Dreams is on a trajectory. What's your vision for Treat Dreams in the future?
That is an excellent question, and one that we are currently discussing right now, just trying to figure out what our next step is. You know, I started Treat Dreams with this idea of it being able to support my mom and I, and also I have a huge just passion for dogs in general, and so I want to be able to use Treat Dreams to help dogs, whether that be, you know, donating or supporting a cause, whatever it may be. In fact, we've actually used Treat Dreams has been able to foster 2 litters of puppies. And so I just love being able to have that ability to dream and think, what could this do in the future? So I don't necessarily have an answer for you. I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing. But I'm very excited with the possibilities of what we could do. We recently started selling t-shirts that are all about dogs because we're just crazy dog people. And so I thought, I need to have a shirt that reflects this so people will know on the outside. And I've been very excited because that 10% of those proceeds go to different rescue organizations all over the country. And so just a little change like that is very exciting to just go, hey, we can even do more than treats. What are we going to do? What possibilities are out there? And so it's very exciting. I'm not sure where we're going, but
you're going somewhere.
I'm very excited.
Oh, nice. Now, how do you pick which rescues to support?
Well, that's another positive aspect of Instagram. I have kind of become connected with a lot of organizations. Every once in a while, Treat Dreams is able to send money to a different organization. I follow them on Instagram. I keep up with what's going on. That's actually how I was inspired to do some fostering with Treat Dreams of our own, because I saw other people doing it and realized that it's so cool to work hand in hand with different organizations. And so there are just kind of organizations I've built relationships with through Instagram, through Facebook, and some with treats, some with not, and have just kind of been like, hey, now I'm able to do a little more for you. Do you want to partner up on this? And so, yeah, just kind of figuring out who I want to support of my followers.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm sure people hardly say no. Organizations like that hardly say no.
Yes.
Wow. And then now I see 2 dogs that model in your pictures. Do you have just the 2 dogs?
No, we have 4.
Oh, wow. Okay, maybe I'm missing some.
Yes, some of them are better, more photogenic than others, and so only a few sometimes make it in the pictures. And plus, we're kind of a revolving door for dogs. Since we started fostering, some we have for a little bit, some we have for a longer period of time. So some we don't have anymore. So I have 4 currently. 1 is a foster, and then 3 are mine. Okay.
Now, I have to ask this. Is there potentially any room in the world of treat dreams for cats?
We get that question a lot, and I have to say, probably not, unless I were to have a partner come in who was more experienced in the cat world. Okay. Because since I love to do things just because I'm passionate about it, that negates the whole cat thing, because I don't have a desire and love for cats like I do for dogs. Therefore, I just feel like that would be something I don't even know how to get started in. And so probably not. unless someone were to, want to partner up on that. But I don't know anything about cats.
Oh,
I've never had one.
Okay. I was going to ask, but you probably already answered it. I wondered if it had to do with the fact that maybe cats and dogs have different digestive systems. And so what might work for a dog might not work for a cat.
I would imagine that that's the truth. But to be honest, again, I just don't even know anything about cats. I don't know a thing about cats.
Nice. Okay. So what's something that you're doing right now that you think is working really well for Treat Dreams?
I think, just kind of to reiterate, it seems to just be working that I'm just being myself. And kind of like we talked about earlier, sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it just does.
Yeah.
And right now it's just working for me. And there may be a point that it doesn't, and I'm going to have to buckle down and actually maybe think about a business stance and make a business model and, maybe be a little bit more intellectual about what I'm doing. But right now I'm having so much fun and am just doing exactly what I want to do. And if I'm passionate about it, I'm going to do it. And if I'm not, then I probably won't, even if it's something that's going to get me a lot of followers and a lot of sales. Mm-hmm. If it's not going to be something I enjoy, and it's going to be like a job, where you have to do something you don't want to do, then I'm probably just not going to do it right now. Again, there might be a day that I have to think about those things. But right now I'm just loving doing exactly what I'm doing and, just being myself and not trying to be somebody else. There's a lot of dog bakeries out there. And I at first started thinking about how I needed to do exactly what they do. And then I realized, no, they're already doing that. Yeah. I need to do something different. And so, just doing whatever comes to my mind and trying to be different and organic and it's working.
Oh, good. And I hope that takes pressure off someone who is listening now and feeling pressured to do what they think they see is working for other people, which, stuff might be working for other people, but then you're feeling a lot of pressure to replicate what someone else is doing. I hope that what Caitlin has just shared takes some of that pressure off and, gives you the freedom to just be you and enjoy doing what you're doing. Because I think a lot of people who come on Etsy to sell start from a place of passion for what they're doing. And then sometimes somewhere along the line, it turns into something not quite as passionate as when they first began.
Absolutely. Yeah. You'll be told that you're probably not doing it right. And here's all these 12 steps to make your shop a success. And then you'll be overwhelmed and you'll cry over cookies and milk. And yeah, I understand. I've been there.
So what's a piece of advice you would give to that person listening who is planning their Etsy debut, hasn't yet come on, and just wants to know what to do next or what to do to make sure that they are successful or to give them the best chance at success? Talk to that person who isn't yet on Etsy but is getting ready to come on.
Sure. I was thinking about this earlier and I just kind of decided that what Etsy is so great at being is a place for personalized service and to get away from the big franchises that are just so cold and unpersonal, to just kind of be that mix between your next door neighbor and also a professional, is, I think, just what I have heard from people they really appreciate the most. I was really surprised when I got on Etsy and started just replying to people's email within like a day. They were so appreciative that I got back with them. And I was so surprised. I was like, isn't this what Etsy is supposed to be? Something where you're interacting with me, the maker, the crafter, the designer. You're not dealing with customer service 1-800.
Yeah.
And I'm getting back to you and letting you know that I am not just someone who's all knowledgeable and knowing. I am Caitlin, your next door neighbor, who just happens to make dog treats out of my kitchen. And I just want to help you. So what do you need? And so I would say to just be that mix between I'm your friend, but I also am a professional, and deal with them professionally and friendly. And so I love that about Etsy. I love that it's a place that you can put your own personal spin on things, on your pictures, try to convey what you love about your product through your picture and then through your conversations with people, and just reaching out to them and answering their questions and not answering them with like a one-word answer. I really dislike when even now I'll reach out to an Etsy owner and I'll be like, hey, I love this product. Does it come in red? And they'll just reply, yes, no. And I'm just like, well, that answers my question, but now I kind of don't like you so much. You know, like I'm a person, you're a person. Let's just talk. Tell me, get me to love it like you do. Yes, it comes in red. It looks so good. What do you need it to be in red with? We've got these other ideas. And so, I just find that the more I'm, just personal with people and say, hey, Betty, I saw that you asked me a question. What else can I help you with? Instead of just being like, yeah, it does, and that's what Etsy is for. I feel like that's exactly what Etsy is for. And that's what sets it apart, so that I'm not dealing with, 1-800, people that don't know who I am and don't care.
Right. I'm laughing because exactly what you said is a response I've had too when I wanted to buy something. And you're right. The way you respond can actually affect whether you make that sale or not. And
absolutely.
Yeah, if I felt like a seller was talking to me, and even if at the end of the day I decided they didn't really have what I wanted, or it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I feel like, I've made a connection with this person. How can I walk away from this sale? And then just end up buying it just because it's like, well, she was just too nice. I don't want to say no now.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like you can get that sense even from their store. Even if you don't reach out to them, you can tell just by the way that they're talking about their listing that they love it, and that they may not be just like the most knowledgeable person, but they will help you with whatever you need. Yeah. And they're just very excited that you're at their shop, and they're like, let me help you. Yeah. You can go to some shops and they may have excellent pictures, but you can just tell that they're a little bit abrasive, a little bit, cold. Mm-hmm. And so I just love when Etsy, you're able to like feel someone's passion just from their pictures and their listings. And I love that Etsy did that. Get to know the shop owners, and you can click and it shows their pictures and tell a little bit about them. That I just love that. Yeah. That's exactly what I love about Etsy.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that. So Caitlin, how can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out to you and get in touch with you? What's the best way they can reach you?
The very best way to reach me is through Etsy messaging. That is absolutely the best way to reach me. I'm always on Etsy, and I love that it gives me notifications when I have a conversation pop up. And so I know exactly, I can email you, I can write you back. The app Etsy has, the shop app, is just excellent. So, I'm always on Etsy, and I love to hear from people. So, that'd be the best way to get in contact with me.
Do you have to, how on the mobile phone, you can actually put your phone in do not disturb mode so that at least when you're sleeping, you don't wake up in the middle of the night to respond. Do you do that?
I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
Good.
Absolutely.
All right,
I treasure my sleep.
Okay, so I will have a link to, multiple links to Caitlin's Etsy shop. It's Treat Dreams on Etsy if you want to go check it out. If you don't remember, just go to convome.com/treatdreams, and all the links to Caitlin's Etsy shop, her website, again, that's treatdreamsthedogbakery.com, as well as her Facebook page and Instagram page will all be there, so you can connect with her on social media as well. Caitlin, thank you so much for being my guest. I have really enjoyed talking to you, and I like that you're just doing Caitlin and it's working for you. I hope that people, actually, I think people will find it encouraging to hear just how you're doing things and how it's working for you. And I hope people will take that to heart.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and it was an absolute pleasure to talk with you.
Thank you. And I thank you for listening to the podcast, and I will be back next week.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.